Alrighty, we are good to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a wonderful and relaxing holiday season with their family and friends. We're very excited to have you here today for this month's session of our group control office hours. We have a lot to cover, as usual. So we will go through quite a bit of new features that have been recently added to the product. So how you can add an opportunity from the sales page, additional job ordering options when you're scheduling, an end date for recurring jobs. We'll go over the review of adding a recurring job to the flexible schedule area. And we'll also be covering how you can easily view an estimate from the billing section and customer view of any outstanding invoices and how they can quickly and easily pay any outstanding ones that they have. So we'll go through those, and then we will end the session with any upcoming features that you can look out for. And also, of course, we'll leave time for questions and answers. I'll pass things over to Linus for just a moment so he can introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. Linus D'Souza here. I am located right outside of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a senior product manager on Crew Control, and I've been here for approximately 2 years now. Love chat, love having discussions with a lot of you guys and speaking to our customers and hoping that we continue to add a lot of functionality to the product that you guys are asking for. Go ahead, Holly.
Wonderful. Yes, we have a lot of great stuff that Linus and his team has been working on. So before we dive into everything, just a few quick reminders. So if you do have a question, please feel free to enter that into the Zoom question and answer box. We will make sure at the end of the session to cover any questions we receive. If there's anything that requires a follow-up, or if we run out of time for some reason, we will make sure to follow up with you one-on-one to get you your answer. We'll share out a recording of this webinar within the next 24 hours. So you can keep an eye out for that in your email, and that will actually be coming to you in the email that you registered for this session with. So we'll share that out for you. And then we are continuing to keep on with these sessions throughout 2024. So join us every third Wednesday of the month, and we will be covering the latest and greatest in crew control and being able to hear from you all, which we love doing. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to our presenter, Linus.
All right. Okay, hopefully I believe everyone can see my screen. So we're gonna first dive into is we made a few changes. We made a change on the sales page. Specifically, we now have an add opportunity button that you can see on the top right corner. We received some feedback as we were as our sales team performs demos for trial users in that the little plus icon next to on the to-do row was was missing, and it wasn't giving our users enough context of that's how you start off before it even gets to a proposal. You have to have an opportunity. And now when you select add opportunity, it launches that existing modal that you guys are very accustomed to. So once again, you will not see a plus sign here on next to do. However, it's been replaced with an add opportunity button there to the right side of the page. It's very similar to when you view your schedule. You have these blue buttons here. You now have a blue button for add opportunity. Moving on to the next one, additional job ordering options when scheduling. So now, as you can see on my day of Wednesday, I have 5 jobs. And I go ahead and add a job, and I select a customer. And I select the date I want that job tackled under crew 1. What you'll see is let's say I don't want it to be the first job of the day. I want it to be the last job of the day. When I select the down arrow, last job of the day is now an option. Previously, the last job of the day was not an option that you could select from. And for, let's say you had 20 jobs to really go through and you want this job to be lined up to be the very last job of the day. Previously, you'd have to scroll down a very lengthy list and then schedule and then select the very last job for this new job to get buttoned up right under. Now your first two options will be the first job of the day if you want to schedule this new job there, or you can schedule it as the last job of the day. This is a lot of good feedback that we got from our customers, the ability and just the ability to quickly select and identify that job to be the last job of the day versus having to scroll down a long list. Now, the next one that we'll be discussing is an end date for recurring jobs. Before I dive into this, whenever you guys schedule a recurring job, you would notice that on your schedule, that recurrence would continue on into the future without any date for it to end. And this can be a little bit challenging for the scenario if you have a customer who has sold their home and they have a specific end date for that job, and you have no way to select that end date. Or if certain tenants of a home are departing or ending their lease and they need the service to end on a certain date, you have no way of doing that. Now we've introduced the concept of we've always had the concept of which week should it start, and now we've introduced the concept of when does a recurring job stop. And here, no jobs will be created on or after the date after the recurring jobs end date. So this is important to understand and bear in mind. If the intent is for your recurring job to end on, let's say, Jan 17th to Jan 17th, and the last job will take place on Jan 17th, make sure you select January 18th and not Jan 17th. Because if you were to select Jan 17th, that recurrence, the job would not be scheduled on that day. So hopefully this solves a lot of issues on recurrence and when a recurring job ends for your customers. Please do give us feedback. Feedback on this feature and enhancement. We do enjoy to hear some of the comments that you guys have on new features and functionality that we release. One of the recent updates that we had to crew control, and while we're on the recurring aspect of adding a job, is the ability to schedule these recurring jobs and have them in an unscheduled bucket. For those of you who aren't aware what the unscheduled bucket is, right under the date for the week that you're in, you'll see an area called unscheduled jobs and how many jobs exist in that bucket. When you select new jobs, you have these cards. You can view them as cards, or you can view them in a table view. As I'm here, I do want to point out that if you have services provided, which are those tags associated to these jobs, you can filter for those so that only those appear. This search area works based on zip code and customer name. You could type in the zip code. So let's say you have 20 jobs in here and there are in 3 or 4 different zip codes. What's really nice is if your crew has capacity for that given day, and you want to add other jobs specific to a zip code, you can go ahead and search for that here and you cannot drag them when they're in a table view, but once they are in a card view, you can go ahead and drag it over to the specific day that you want that job tackled on. Now, do want to highlight that when you do create a recurring job, and you know when it's going to start and stop, that previously, you could, when you select the dropdown for day of the week, we used to have the flexible unscheduled area as an option here. That is no longer an option. However, what we do is, right here. So we now have a selection here for flexible job. When you do select that this is a flexible job, you'll notice a few things. Let's click this info icon. Flexible jobs are not assigned to a crew or a specific day. They're added to the unscheduled jobs area, which was the area we just covered at the top of the schedule board. They'll remain in that unscheduled area until you manually go ahead and move that over to the calendar. Now, when you do select this checkbox, you cannot select the day of the week, you cannot select the crew, and you cannot select the job order, obviously, because it is in an unscheduled area. I do want to highlight that. However, those are not selectable until it's been added to the schedule. When you do unselect that, we do surface up, give you the ability to add those options back in. So let me just go ahead and add this. I want to select a different customer here. So flexible job, weekly, save. Once that's done, as you can see, John Doe now appears here. Next one up is easily view estimate from the billing section. When we go to the billing section and you have a list of jobs that were completed that you need to invoice. Previously, if you had this information and you could view what the job amount was, we had no way for you to easily go over to the estimate that was agreed upon with your customer, whether there were specific instructions or criteria due to whether it being additional charges, or even visuals. Now there's a column here for estimate number. And when you do select it, you are sent immediately over to that original estimate that was agreed upon between the customer and yourself. We have also added a few other areas where the estimate number is linked. When you go to open invoices, you can also go ahead and select the estimate number and it will take you there. And additionally, when you do go to the customer itself, and let's see, you go to the jobs, you can also select the estimate number from here, and it'll send you directly there. Yep. So the jobs under the customer record and specific to billing. This way, when you click the estimate, you have all the information easily that you can easily get to and build out your invoice accordingly. And lastly, customer view of outstanding invoices and ability to pay them. So this was one of the most requested features from a survey that we released in end of November, early December, where we were asking our users, what is an area of the payments side that you would really like to see for yourself and even for both yourself and your customers. And prior to this release, the only way for your customers to pay for more, to handle and view more than one invoice was when an invoice is sent over to your customer, there was no way for them to understand that there were other outstanding invoices. And you'd have to individually send each one at a time, or they go into their email or text message and search for previous outstanding invoices. Wasn't a very good user experience there. So we really wanted to put something out there for you guys. So now when an invoice is sent to your customer, what they will go ahead and enter the invoice state where they can view the details here and they can make payment. However, at the very top, we do surface up that there are other outstanding invoices. Now, if they have only one invoice, they're not going to see this banner at the very top. For this particular scenario, they see that your customer will see that there is one other outstanding invoice and how much that invoice is for. When the view invoices link is selected, they're sent to this page where they're presented with a list of outstanding invoices. I do want to call out, each invoice can be paid one at a time. We do not have any functionality where you can select multiple invoices and pay for all of them at once. A few reasons behind that is what we discovered was a lot of the end customers typically have fewer than 3 invoices that are outstanding at a given time. There are a few customers that have many more, but what we wanted to do was solve for a majority of our user base. And this was the quickest path for us to also get this functionality out to you guys and get paid sooner. And that wraps it up with respect to features that we released recently in the month of January. What I do want to call out are some upcoming features that we are actively working on. We are actively working on proposal upsell. This gives you the ability to, when you send a proposal over to your customer, you can highlight certain products and services that are optional to them. That way, you're upselling to them that that here are some optional items, optional line items that we request as a business, that we suggest as a business or recommend as a business, and it gives you the customer, it gives your end customer the flexibility in selecting them or not to. Another area that we are actively working on is presently in crew control. Your only path to edit a proposal template is you have to actively go into an existing proposal and edit the template by entering into the template this way. It's very cumbersome if if all you need to do is edit a template or even delete a template. And today we don't give you the ability to delete a template. So our plans are we will be heading down the path of introducing another button here to the right of add opportunity, which will allow you to view a list of your proposal templates, edit them, and delete them. And another feature that we will be actively working on is the ability to the ability where you can actively add a manual payment entry that could result in an underpayment for a total invoice. So, for example, let's say you sent an invoice to your customer for $1,000. However, they have the ability to only pay $500, and that is acceptable by you. Today, our system will not allow you to add a manual partial payment. And we are heading in the path where the partial payment specifically for underpayment will be available in the upcoming month or two. And once we solve for that, we will head down the path of the overpayment situation. But that is something that we are actively doing some discovery on at the moment. And that wraps it up with respect to what we have coming up. So we have a question here. Is there any options to hide the unit price and quantity, but still show the line item total? Let's take is that specific to the proposal or the invoice? Proposal. So let's go ahead and go through that scenario. Say I have selected a few items here. There is a selection here for a checkbox to show line item prices. When that is unselected, you can go ahead and select which ones you want to hide. So what this does is this hides the prices, the line item prices, and it will output to your customer what the total amount would be. Does this answer your question? Yep, sure. I can definitely show you what it looks like to the customer. So from here, we can go ahead and send this. Actually, this to myself. Yep. Send it that. You need a valid until date. Send. And this is what it looks like to the customer. Now, For this particular scenario, I don't have any intro text or footer text here, which is why you're not going to see that information. Um,
One other option too, Linus, there's another flavor of this. If you uncheck that hide button, you can also show the line item itself and hide the prices. It's a little different flavor. So the hide checkbox on the right of the line item, if you uncheck those, that'll give that ability to present the product and service, but not show the quantity or amount.
Yep.
And then hide will remove the full line item completely.
So if we go back. Yep, there. So that's the scenario for just viewing and just presenting the line item and without the pricing. Okay, looks like there's another question here. I submitted question online about the pictures that the tech takes. Can the pictures from this year be added to next year's job? I have a business that installs Christmas lights annually, and it would be helpful to show next year's team what needs to be installed. It would also be nice to include pictures on the invoice. So a few things that this can be separated in a few ways. So let's say a job's been done today, and it's for taking down lights if you live in a warmer area. And now you've taken all the pictures. Now on that invoice, let's say those pictures were on the job, we give you the ability to move those visuals from the job over onto the invoice. However, let's say a year from now, or 8 months from now, you're planning on doing the job for installing the lights up again. Your only path right now is, because that was previous invoice in a previous job, you would have to download those images in order to get them on the new job or proposal.
Linus, there were a few questions, in addition to the ones in the chat, also in the question and answer panel. I just want to make sure we didn't miss those ones.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the webinar chat. I didn't.
No, that's okay. I know there's two places, so I just wanted to make sure we hit both.
Yep. Okay, so can you go back through the scheduling process? Okay, let's go back to the scheduling process. So let's say for this particular scenario, I think it's this one. Let's go ahead and accept this. So let's say your customer goes ahead and accepts the proposal. You'll see that color change from white to blue. It's been accepted. From here, you can go ahead and schedule off the proposal itself. You can go ahead and schedule a single job and you can select the crew. There are other crews, and then select the specific date. And you can fill in other information such as billing, or if you have specific checklist templates, or if you want to create a template, you could go ahead and do that from here and save it. When you do go ahead and schedule from the proposal, you are automatically asked if you want to archive this proposal. Archiving the proposal will move it away off your sales page. However, you can still access it from the customer's record. Okay, when you are in contract billing, is there any more personalizations besides customer name, customer address? I would like to send month so that the invoice is a little bit more personalized and lets the customer know which month it is for. Let's go ahead and go through that. So presently, we don't have that. However, that's good feedback for us to take in. Scott, would you be able to document that one?
Yep, I can do.
Thank you. Not sure what that follow-up question was. Can that be done in contract billing as well? Oh, got it. I don't believe we can hide. No, we don't have the ability to hide the item in contract billing line item. That's actually good feedback for us. Yep. There's a question here. I would like the ability to attach a picture to a customer for future jobs. That is actually a functionality that we have lined up. We have documented that, and that is something that we plan to tackle in the near future. So there's another question here. Is there a way to show the line items and not show the quantities? I don't believe we have that today. The line items will appear with the quantities right now. Any other questions?
If we don't have any other questions, I know we are right at time pretty much, so we can go ahead and close today's session out. Thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for all the wonderful questions, very engaged group, which we love to see. And we hope you have a great rest of your day. And as a reminder, we'll make sure to share this recording out for you to be able to reference back. So keep an eye out for that to come in the next 24 hours. So thank you again and have a great day, everybody.